What is going on, guys, and welcome back to a new episode. It has been 2 months since we dropped off the Fiat at Toon for a new wiring loom, and it is done. So today we're going to the car and get it on a dyno. Now this will be the first dyno I will be doing in my life with my own car, so I'm really excited and also a bit anxious, hoping the car or the engine won't explode. But we're going to find out, and I'm going to take you along today to see how it goes.
Independent.
Hey!
Oh.
Trash. Oh.
Trash.
We arrived at STEENHOVEN Engineering and the car is going on the dyno. Well, under the hood you can see a lot of nice new wires. It's wired up, amazing. And now it's going on the hub dyno. And let's see how much horsepower we can make. So nou, dit is echt, ik weet niet hoe lang die nu, dit is gewoon koud nu, toch?
Ja.
Dit deed hij voorheen totaal niet.
Je hebt die stuurkop die maakt een beetje.
Ja.
Is dat altijd nog zo?
Ja. Ik denk dat
er zit wel olie en zo in. Maar
hij maakt wel een beetje herrie, hoor.
Nou, nice.
Nou zijn we officieel, hè?
Yes. Let's go, hè?
Let's go. Before we got here, Toon already created a base map. Now he's going to slowly configure everything so he can safely start making some power. He's checking all the sensors, oil pressure, and check if the engine is running healthy. Well, we did a run and we only get to 220 horsepower because we reached the limit of the injectors. Kijk,
Ja, ik leg steeds meer op voorraad, want ik heb alles niet nodig altijd.
Nou ja, dit zijn wel van die dingen inderdaad dat...
Showstoppers, hè?
Yeah. Well, the old injectors were almost 400cc and they weren't enough to make more than 220 horsepower, but now we inserted 790cc injectors. Hopefully this will be enough to reach 250 horsepower or 280. That's right. The car is back in the garage and we got some good news and some bad news. The dyno day went relatively well. We put out a nice number on horsepowers, but some things didn't really go to plan. For example, the injectors were too small and we couldn't get past 220 horsepowers. The trigger wheel that we made wasn't really up to it because the teeth were too high and the crank signal wasn't really good. So above 6000 RPM the car would fire spontaneously and misfire a lot. So we put a limiter on 6000 RPM. And then the worst of all happened. We got a massive oil leak under the car. As we noticed, we stopped and consulted with Toon to see what we could do, and he told us we could continue. After monitoring the oil, there was sufficient oil in the engine, but we needed to look at it, and after that we put out a whopping 254 horsepower at the wheels. Which I'm really happy about. And it is also the limit of the turbo. So if we want more, we actually need to upgrade the turbo. But that's something for the future. Right now, I'm gonna check the oil leak and check if it's from the crank seal, which I really hope it isn't, because then I have to take out the gearbox and all that's attached, a lot of work, or if it's something else and maybe an easy fix. So let's continue and start with that. One of the things we need to fix before the car can go back on the road is the fitment of the wheels. Now some may say this looks amazing, but the MOT does not like this, and I'm also not the biggest fan of the wheels poking out too much out of the arches. Now in order to fix that, someone is coming today, and it's the company called Juju Wheels. They are coming to measure the car, the wheels, the fitment, and they are going to make some new lips for these rims in order to make it fit nicely. This is Julian, and he's the expert when it comes to fitment. He took all the measurements and he will create new lips and refresh the entire set. Juju Wheels specializes in all sorts of wheels, but mainly JDM. If you need some custom wheels or change your set, then check the link below. Now that I don't have wheels on the car, I need to refresh my track day wheels. This is not a professional job, but it looks better than nothing. To make it look somewhat cool, I put on some beefy spacers. Well, we tracked down the leaks and we think we know where it comes from. One being the sump gasket. I actually bought two of them to see which one will work better. And the other being a drive shaft seal going into the gearbox, which is leaking massively and it's all on the floor. And then we got some small leaks and we're going to tackle them as well. And then hopefully it's done and it can go for MOT. Well, we need to drain the oil and it needs to go back in, and I only have this container. What could go wrong, right?
Oh no.
Well, that worked. I'm very much done with this car. Literally. Well, the story continues. I took off the oil sump and just to change the gasket, and after inspecting the oil that was still in the sump, it looked like metallic paint. And then I decided to check the rod end caps and check the bearings, and they are toasted. So now we need to also change the bearings. Thank you, car. Just want to drive it and have fun with it, but it's so hard. Before we can change the rod bearings on the car, we need to measure the crankshaft if everything is still in spec. Because we can order different sizes of rod bearings, one being a standard size, and if we need to go thicker, we need to actually take out the engine and then adjust the crankshaft to fit new bearings. So let's hope they fit within spec. And now is the question, how do we know it is in spec? Well, luckily for me, I bought the entire set of workshop manuals, as you can see here, with all the specs that I need. And now I'm going to take out all the bearings one for one and then write them down and measure them, and then hopefully I can install normal rod bearings. So let's go. In order to measure the crank correctly, I first need to calibrate the tool. We are not talking about whole millimeters here, but about 0.001 millimeters. So calibrating is crucial. In order to fix my problem, I bought some new rod bearings and the main bearings as well. But today I'm only going to change the rod bearings, because changing the main bearings means taking out the engine, removing the crankshaft, measure everything in order to do it properly. Because you can do it in the car, but that's a hack job and I don't want to do that. And I bought a oil filter because the current one may be full of metal, I hope, because that's the job of the oil filter. And some assembly lube and some really nice 10W60 oil from Motul 300V, specially made for race cars. And hopefully this should fix my problem, and after that the car starts and it's good to go. Hopefully. Well, these are the coated bearings. As you can see, they look a bit different from normal bearings or worn out bearings, just as mine. Now, these are coated with a special solution. Don't ask me what's on it, but it's better for heat management, reduces engine failure, extends bearing life, reduces oil temperature, increases horsepower, saves time and money, protects your investment. So this is the solution for all your problems. Get them, people. Well, I did say I was not gonna change the main bearings, and curiosity got the better of me. And now I'm debating if I should have just leave it alone, or if it's better that I did this, because this car is not gonna run for a while, because the engine has to come out. The main bearings are even worse than the rod ends, and the crank has to go to a machine shop. End of this episode. And that's not a fun job. As you can see, we got... Nothing is a fun job. Do I even have fun? Yes.